Greetings, fellow scholars. Here we are on scenario 6 of module 3, where we are going to talk about perspective, 3D art, and digital stereographics. In mathematics, stereographic projection has been studied for centuries. Mathematicians have been looking for ways to create 3D images, and it started long ago. And we started off by drawing simple geometric three-dimensional shapes and moved on to creating some really neat drawings. I had to showcase my favorite board game here. And then we've moved into creating all kinds of 3D art. This particular piece of 3D art was created with a machine that I can't remember the exact name of it. 3D printer. It was a simple name. I guess that's why I couldn't think of it. So this particular 3D art was actually put into a 3D image. Most of you have seen 3D printers and you know what that is. And then here's just a very simple digital stereographic projection. And we are going to actually create some stereographic projections using Excel. So let's have some fun creating 3D art, comparing numerical patterns to 3D images, using spreadsheets, and discussing perspective. So our first task here is to go to this web link. This little web page is pretty cool. I found it when I was looking for something neat to do with perspective in 3D and Excel. I just Googled all that stuff together and found some neat stuff. So we're going to go ahead and create some 3D images and rotate them around in Excel and see what that looks like. All right, so straight to that website here, you guys can read all about this. I've already read it and practiced some stuff and even went beyond to some more advanced stuff that I'm going to try to get into a different semester. But I don't have time to learn all the really extra cool stuff. Like, for example, I do not know how to create this image yet. Now, I did create images like this when I took Calculus 3 on my graphing calculator. So I did get to do some cool stuff with 3D graphing back in the day. This is quite a bit different than what I did, but still just as neat. So you guys go ahead and look through this. I have already made this. So I am going to just go to my Excel sheet and show you what I've done. So here on my Excel sheet, you can see that I have created some numerical patterns. To get these patterns, I did not type these digits in. As a matter of fact, here, I have all these here. I'm going to go ahead and just create one from scratch just to show you guys. So here, I'm going to kind of do something a little bit like what they have on the first page. I'm just going to put my number 1 there, and then I'm going to just bring that all the way over. Number 1, and then all the way down. All right, cool. I have just filled everything with ones. I'm going to leave, I don't know, I guess 3. Let's do 3 rows. I'll leave 3 rows of ones and 3 columns of ones. So now I am going to, I don't know if what I'm about to do will work, so I guess I'll just try it. I made a mistake and just thought I'll give it a try here. No. All right, I was just typing 2. So now you can see in this cell right here, I typed a 2. If you guys can see that, I guess I can highlight it. This has a 2 in it. So now I am going to drag this 2 all the way. I said I was going to leave 3 columns and 3 rows of ones. So that's what I'm doing. All right, very good. And if I want to see this, I'm getting way more complicated just trying to show you guys what I'm doing here. If I want to put borders, I can. All right, so now I'm going to leave 3 rows of 2s and 3 columns of 2s. So it looks like I'm going to start right here. I'll go ahead and paint this a different color just so you guys can see. All right, so that's now going to be a 3. And I'm going to drag that here and here. Very good. All right, now I am going to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, What does that leave me with? If I put a 4 in here and I change that to a different color, that's not really too much different to really tell. That's too dark. There we go. All right, so let's see. It looks like I don't get to move that way at all. How far down do I get to move? Right there. All right, so you guys can see that I left 3 columns and 3 rows of 1s, of 2s, 3s, and then I ended up with my 4s right here. So now what I'm going to do is just select all of this data, insert, go to my, I just always go to my scatter plots, as you guys know, go down to more scatter charts, and then over here on the left side, you'll see surface. And if you don't have this, you'll have to borrow a different computer until, you know, to create this. All right, cool. Looky there. There's my chart. And now, and the reason that the top piece looks like it does is because it did not get to have the built up sides like the others did. You see, there's my flat surface, my second surface, my third surface. Isn't that cool? Now what we're going to do is right click on our shape. Can I double click? No. Right click and format your chart area. Okay, let me just take that back. We're not formatting the chart area. We're going to right click. Okay, and then right here, see where it says 3D rotation? Just click the 3D rotation. And now, see, can I get that off there? Now look over here on your 3D rotation. See, you have the X axis. Remember, the X axis is our horizontal axis. So that means when I rotate this, it's going to rotate about that X axis. Haha, pretty cool, right? Now let's rotate about the Y axis. And then in oh, look, you see underneath it? Isn't that neat how it's hollow? And then in 3D, we have what's called the Z rotation, and we can't rotate about that for this problem. But you guys can change your perspectives. You can look at it from different perspectives. And the cool thing about this is that, you know, when you're rotating this thing, think about if you were somebody, you know, that lived all the way up underneath inside of that, all the way up inside of that little yellow tip up there, you would have no idea that all the rest of this existed unless you got out and started climbing around. So let me just show you guys. I made a few other patterns here. I don't remember how many patterns I asked you to make, but here's another smaller pattern that I created. And I'm going to insert my 3D chart here. And this one gives me more of a pyramid. And the reason for that is because I did not build it up so much. If you look at this particular chart closely, you can see that my ones only have 1 row, 1 column, and then it goes straight to 2s, 3s, 4s. So, and then I actually had 2 rows or 2 columns of 4s, which is what gave me the flat piece up here on the top. So if I had only had one like I had over here, see there was only 1 column of 4s for this one. So I'm trying to make that bigger. So in that case, it was real sharp on the top. So because I had 2 columns of 4s, I got that flat piece. All right, I want to show you guys some other cool stuff that I had done. Here's just another one. These are all super basic. I'm going to leave it to you guys to be more creative. But I do want to show you something kind of cool here. I don't know which one I'm going to show it to you on. Okay, so here's a flat surface. If I rotate this one, you can see more of my surface. You see here I have more colors. I can rotate it around and you can see that it's just a flat plane. Okay, because see I started here at 1 and then each row just increases all the way across. So it just made a surface that came all the way up. Now, this is the cool thing I want to show you guys. So what if I took one of these pieces all the way up here on 13? Let's just take this piece, and I just made this number 13 be a 1. What would happen in that case? Whoa, look at that. I had one piece go all the way back down to 1. Now, the thing is, if I rotate this thing back around, look at that. If I rotated it around, it just looks like a piece is missing. This is the important part of perspective. If I'm looking at it from this angle, a piece is just missing. But if I turn it around, I can see, wow, that piece isn't missing. It's just huge, and it dropped down there. What if I wanted to take a piece from the ones? Let's try this one over here. Um, where do you think this is going to happen? All the way over here on my little blue piece, if I shoot this up to 10. Look at that, pretty cool. What if I wanted to shoot it up to 100? What would happen to the rest of my graph? It would all look flat because relative to this piece sticking up to 100, the 13 is pretty flat. So that's kind of how that rolls out. Pretty neat, huh, you guys? All right, one more, and then I am going to let you guys go ahead and play. And, you know, you can do all kinds of fun stuff. You can change this to 20, throw a little one over here that says, I don't know, 15. And you can put little mountains all over your piece. You see that? And there are probably pretty cool ways you can even put things inside of your mountains. I don't know. A lot of stuff I don't know about Excel that I'm learning. And believe me, this is just one cool aspect of what will be for perspective next semester. I'm really excited about learning how to use this stuff. All right, so I'm just going to insert this one last graph here. And whoops, did not mean to do that. I know, it's just not nearly as interesting, is it? So I'm going back to my scatter plots, more scatter plots and surface. And this one just kind of shows a partial figure. And if you look at my numbers, you can definitely correlate where this graph falls off and where my numbers build up, all different stuff. It's just really cool to be able to do this in Excel. I am going to do a 3D rotation again. A 3D rotation, I right-clicked on the graph. I found that if I just right-clicked off in the white, sometimes it showed up, sometimes it didn't. So just mess around with it. Around, you get it? So again, here's my perspective. This one I was really able to see. I really thought that was cool how when I moved this one around, I could actually see the ripples. And this is a neat perspective because doesn't it look like it's protruding upward, you know, from one angle, but then you turn it around and it's hard to tell which side is up and which side is down. Kind of like life sometimes, right? All right, so that's all we have for perspective. You guys are now going to have a look at answering these 5 questions and writing some sentences and getting your final Excel report turned in. Congratulations, everybody. I will see you on the next video.